My name's Mary Swantek and I'm here with North Georgia Audiology. As one of the doctors of audiology here, I've had a lot of patients coming in recently that have been having trouble with their hearing aids and a mask. It's understandable because most hearing aids now are behind the ear. So this causes an issue when you're wearing a mask and it starts to pull forward on your ear. Add glasses on top of that and it can be even more difficult. So I have some tips and tricks for you guys today on how to keep your hearing aids nice and safe so you don't lose them when you're pulling that mask off. Before we get to those, I just want to go over a couple things with communication tips for communicating with your friends, family, and loved ones during this time so that you can understand them a little bit better with a mask on. So as you guys may know, when you're wearing the mask, it does make it really difficult to lip read. There are certain things that you can do instead of lip reading that'll help you communicate with others. One of those things is to make sure you're using hand gestures. So make sure you're doing things and exaggerating with your hands, so any type of gesture will help. You also want to make sure you're enunciating your words. So the slower you can talk, not necessarily louder, but slower and more concise can be very helpful as well. Also be aware of what kind of environment you're in. So a lot of background noise can be really difficult, especially when you can't read someone's lips. Another trick I always tell people with communication strategies is look at rephrasing something. So say I ask, hey, what did you have for breakfast this morning? And they say, oh, what did you say? You repeat it, they still don't hear you. Say, the meal that you had first for breakfast, what did you have? Rephrasing those phrases can be very helpful because it gives us a better sense cognitively of what they're saying. So those are just a couple communication tricks for you guys. The next thing I'm going to show you is masks. So there's a couple different types of mask out there, as we can see. One of the types has little bands on it right here. These are great, but the only problem is it can pull your ear down. And when you have a hearing aid on the back of your ear, it can make it a little difficult. So if you're wearing this type of mask, just make sure that you're tucking your hearing aid behind the mask and holding the hearing aid when you remove it. So I'm gonna put this one on with my hearing aid. So you can see the hearing aid right here. It's tucked under the band. You can even loop it around there. When you take it off, make sure you're holding on to the hearing aid while you remove the mask. The most important thing is just being aware that you have the hearing aids in. So making sure that they're both there right after you take the mask off to make sure you didn't drop it. Now, this type of mask has ties that are in the back of it. This can be really helpful because it doesn't pull your ears down. So if we're using this type of mask, we're avoiding the area with the hearing aid completely. Now, there's also some other tips and tricks like mask extenders. So you can use these to go on the back and then the mask can hook on so that it takes the pressure off of your ears. There's a few kind of different options out there to look into, but the most important thing is just being aware that your hearing aids are in and not reaching up and pulling the mask off too abruptly. So that's a couple tips and tricks for you guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to call our office and we'd be happy to get you in.